Welcome Scorpio to your in-depth monthly forecast for August 2024 for the Ascendant, the Sun or the Moon. I'm going to share the event chart right at the start of the month shortly on screen, but before I do, I just want to tell you about a very special opportunity. If you order your unique personal horoscope for year 2025 now, I'll give you the rest of year 2024 free, plus you'll get 30% off and also your life roadmap report. Please see the link beneath this video so you can check this out. If you know your tropical astrology really well, why not check out my draconic version? Same offer, the rest of this year free, all of 25, plus your draconic character analysis, and also 30% off. On the screen now, I'm sharing your event chart right at the start of the month. As ever, we need to be aware of your two rulers of Mars and Pluto. Pluto's just in your fourth house still, very much about transformations around home, family and emotions. But Mars is in the very deep and passionate eighth house. The host is the light and quick moving sign of Gemini. If you are someone who's interested in business, entrepreneurship, or making more of your resources, Mars and Jupiter, the planet of growth, are going to offer you some really positive opportunities this month. But also at the start of the month, we need to be mindful of the role of the Sun and the Moon, the luminaries. The Sun is right high in the sky, the 10th house, along with Venus, the planet of relating, but also money. Now, the position of the Moon, like Mars and Jupiter, is in Gemini, but that is in a testing right angle to Neptune at the beginning of this month. If there is someone that's intriguing, fascinating, mesmerizing you at the start of this month, make sure as this month goes on that you're a little bit cagey and maybe even to the point of wary about how this may go, because there's such a lot of energy at the start of this month, which is so encouraging. And because you can naturally be very shrewd and very astute in how you approach things, and that could work out for you in a very positive way this month in terms of marshalling those resources. Relationships can, of course, pull at our heartstrings in very complex ways. So as the month begins, that alliance or connection between the Moon, the 8th house, can see you more aware of the psychological dimension of where you're drawn to. But the position of Neptune in the 5th house is your fantasy position, if you like. I'm not saying you are personally fantasizing, but for Scorpios generally, since 2012, Neptune's been giving you opportunities at times to really think about how you really like your love life or social life, or even your creative strands to work out. But Saturn over the last 15-16 months has been bringing a cool wind to this area, and guess what, Saturn is in a square with Jupiter at the start of this month. So as much as Mars, your traditional ruler, and Jupiter link perfectly by the 14th of this month, great for business, making the most of your long-term resources, anything to do with investments, property could go well for you. Just be mindful that the part of your scope that's to do with being more speculative, more to do with pushing forwards, is actually impacted by the cool energies of Saturn and sometimes the rather confusing energies of Neptune. So that 5th house is what we really yearn. The 8th house is desire and deep connections, and can of course be to do with transformations. But of course, because the Sun is so high in the sky, it may be that your thinking is around your work or how you're perceived in the wider world. If you are wanting to raise your profile, the Sun forges a quite sensational link to Mars, but from the 3rd of the month, and particularly on the 9th exactly, with Jupiter, the planet of growth. How good is that? So if you've got something that you've got to offer that you're really invested in and you have a lot of knowledge around, a lot of experience and skills has evolved over a long period of time, you can pull people to you who are going to be interested in what you have to say at the start of this month. Absolutely, for sure. There's also some energy going on in house 6, which can be to do with healing. Chiron, not least, the North Node, both forging good links at the start of this month. But remember I said that Venus was at the top of your chart like the Sun? Well, that is in a tense right angle with Uranus as we start the month off. So an offer that you get, or someone could step forwards in a professional context or a personal one, who really kind of grabs your attention right from the off. But I go back to my aforementioned points. The energy manifesting in Pisces this month is what you desire. It's what would be your perfect ideal. The energy that goes on to manifest in the sign of Virgo is much more about where you need to network and connect to others in order to get your desire. And the two don't actually collaborate particularly well as the month goes on. Which brings us to the 4th, the new moon. If you want to apply for that job, start that business, take a look at your resources and jiggle them around, try to squeeze more from them, then that is a sensational new moon because it links so beneficially to the planet of fortune, Jupiter. Then on the 5th, Venus moves into a very friendly location for you, but in terms of romance, it's a cool one. Venus in Virgo is in its fall, but it does see Mercury on the same day go into a retrograde. Are you going to hear from someone you haven't heard from for a while? Is this person going to be an old flame? Would it be any different if you revisited this situation this time round? I don't know, but I think your yearning, and even all the way to a bit of lustiness, to be honest, by the middle of the month, as Mars and Jupiter come into an exact conjunction, means your willpower to get what you need can be very, very strong. And of course, Mercury retrograde isn't always about glitches, but if there is a long-term plan and it changes, for you as a fixed sign, that can be frustrating. So because the host, Virgo, is mutable, it's asking you to flex, to understand that if there's a delay or a change, it's because for a bigger reason that could be good for you. But it could, in the short term, be very frustrating. Also, to be honest, Mercury goes opposite Neptune and Venus goes opposite Saturn. And those are the real crux points at the heart of this month. Because although Mercury does go into its retrograde on the 5th in Virgo, it inverts into your sector of connection with the wider world on the 15th. So there's going to be a bit of muddle at the heart of this month, or limitation in whatever part of your situation, or a delay. But you get a chance to use the opportunity of Mercury's retrograde to rethink and reset and recalibrate on the Mercury cazimi of the 19th. And that could coincide with some kind of job offer which really excites you. It's just the full moon on the same day means that you may have to make a snap decision, one that could affect your current professional role or current home role, because Uranus, the planet of change, is applying to both positions of the Sun and the Moon. You get some sukha on the 22nd when the Sun moves into the sign of Virgo, because what you can do from the initial blushes of this month, which are very positive and hopeful, what you can do after the muddle that then ensues is try to find the points of collaboration. Mercury goes direct on the 28th. Something that may have paused and stopped can start to evolve again. But on the 29th, Venus does move into your 12th house. It links with Pluto, your modern ruler, however. What's the implication of that? Well, I think really, if you can't find that commonality through the Sun moving into Virgo and Venus moving out of Virgo makes you really pause for thought, it could be that the tension that Saturn has applied to Venus and Neptune to Mercury is really telling. In other words, some doubts have crept in, or things have slowed down to the point where you've rethought things, and it could actually be your work or your professional situation or your long-term finances that you end this month much more focused upon than a romantic relationship. but the yearning to have a connection with someone can be strong for sure. It's been a real pleasure being with you. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. About 50% of people who watch my videos are not subscribers. Please help the channel to grow by clicking that sub button and also that bell notification symbol. And please check out that special offer below.